The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, a Dunedin primary school is hit by vandalism to a new mural in what they believe is a racist attack. A long-awaited jetty restoration is finally complete in Canterbury after being closed for more than a decade. And something's cooking in Port Chalmers as a popular Kaimoana festival makes a comeback. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. A Dunedin principal is in disbelief after an act of vandalism covered up the school's new source of pride. The St Joseph's Cathedral School's collaborative Māori Jesus mural has been painted over, with Principal Joe Stanley believing it was racially motivated.
This wall is once again a blank slate, just 3 weeks after it was an icon of multiculturalism. The St Joseph's Cathedral School's been left reeling after finding someone had covered up their recently created Māori Jesus mural with an overnight paint job. The primary school's principal, Joe Stanley, can't believe someone would destroy the kids' hard work, claiming it takes a certain character to vandalise the painting.
Especially in a Catholic school, we're all about values, and that shows absolutely no values at all.
The mural was painted by local artist Araha Novak and some of the primary school's pupils to celebrate a multicultural vision of Jesus. Stanley says the vandal had to have been really vindictive and thinks the act of vandalism must have been racially motivated.
Yeah, just someone that obviously has a lot of anger about it to take the time to actually do what they've done.
While Stanley's not looking forward to breaking the news to the pupils, she says they'll get straight back to work on repainting their Māori Jesus mural. In Dunedin, the South Today.
It's now time for New Zealand to vote for their future leaders as early voting opened across the country this morning. A number of voting stations opened across the southern regions at 9 on Monday morning, with that number gradually increasing to 2,300 nationwide on election day. From today, people can cast their votes for the 2023 general election, the first election since Dunedin's electorate boundaries were changed 3 years ago. Early voting helps to meet increased demand for ballots on election day, with almost 2 million people across the country opting to vote in advance. Voting will be open for the next 2 weeks, running through until the official election day next Saturday. A community-led project to rebuild a small coastal town's earthquake-damaged jetty came to fruition in the weekend. After 8 years of hard work, Governor's Bay officially reopened their brand new jetty, which was welcomed with great fanfare and festivities.
A symbol of hope for the next generation, these children, accompanied by a bagpiper, were the first to walk on this newly opened $3.7 million Governor's Bay jetty over the weekend. The 149-year-old jetty has been off limits for more than a decade after it was badly damaged in the 2011 Canterbury earthquakes. More than 400 supporters were on deck to celebrate the reopening on Saturday, which gave thanks to the hard work of all involved in the restoration.
This project is a perfect example of how community groups and council can work together to build and rebuild facilities by harnessing the energy inherent in waiting to allow these things to fly. And you will all know full well how at risk a revival to this jetty was, and you stepped up to the enormous task to save it.
In 2015, the Christchurch City Council announced they had no intentions of repairing the badly damaged 300-metre-long jetty, which they estimated would cost almost $8 million. That news rallied the small community into action and was met with the formation of the Governor's Bay Jetty Restoration Trust, who believed the jetty could be repaired for less than half of the council's estimated cost.
Despite the funding challenges of a small community of 400 households, a pandemic, the need for improved design and engineering solutions, this belief has never wavered.
The council eventually made an agreement with the trust, taking on a 50-50 cost-sharing arrangement. Well over $1 million has been raised for the restoration, which still needs a further $350,000 over the next 4 years to meet its target. In Christchurch, the South Today.
Tributes are flowing in for an esteemed Dunedin professor who died over the weekend. He's being remembered not only as a world-leading scientist, but also a compassionate man with a heart of gold. Otago University professor Richie Bulletin died on Friday evening at Dunedin Hospital. He was known as the long-serving director of a highly regarded Dunedin study. The 61-year-old became the face of the Dunedin Multidisciplinary Health and Development Study when he took over the directorship back in 2000. The study has followed the lives of more than 1,000 people since they were born in the 1970s, providing internationally significant data on human development and behaviour. Bulletin was diagnosed with cancer around 3 years ago and had been undergoing treatment. His friend and spokesman for the family, Professor Stephen Robertson, says Bulletin died peacefully with family and friends by his side. Cromwell's summer series may have kicked off over the weekend, but winter wasn't quite ready to release its grip as Central Otago's fittest put their endurance to the test. Bitter winds and fresh snow didn't deter the hardy runners from taking part in the Cromwell Half Marathon and 10K event on Saturday. Around 320 eager participants of all ages laced up their running shoes, making their way along the scenic track down the shore of Lake Dunstan. The half marathon is a staple on the Central Otago calendar, with the athletic event running for more than 3 decades. Race director Terry Harris says he was disappointed with the weather, but still stoked with the turnout as numbers returned to what they were in pre-COVID times. There was something fishy happening near Dunedin over the weekend as thousands flocked to get a taste of the sea. The popular Port Chalmers Seafood Festival made a triumphant return, taking to the seaside suburb for the first time in 4 years.
Digging into some tasty kai straight from the moana. Around 3,500 people made their way to the Port Chalmers Seafood Festival on Saturday, hooking themselves a bite at Port Otago. It's the first time the biennial event has been held in 4 years, with the cold and rainy weather unable to deter the seafood lovers.
It is going off. I think we started out a little bit rainy, a little bit cold, and it's just turned into a dream for us. It's amazing.
Free buses and trains were running from central Dunedin to Port Chalmers, allowing visitors to enjoy the food and drink vendors, entertainment and fishing competitions on offer at the event. The festival relied heavily on help from local Dunedin groups and organisations, including help from volunteers who assisted with running the bar and kitchens.
I guess the sense of achievement and the sense of belonging to something. Yeah, it's really rewarding actually.
Event organisers were pleased with the turnout for the festival's return as they provided a fun and delicious day out for the family despite the wintry weather. In Port Chalmers, the South Today.
Whai Yakane, still to come on the South Today. WrestleFest slams into action in Queenstown as a hometown hero makes their big return. And razor-sharp skills are put to the test on some Central Otago merino sheep.
Great Britain has a collection of varied landscapes and countryside to rival anywhere else in the world. And the best way to see it is to walk.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
This is the real deal. Everything's reduced. Must go sale on now. There's 30% off lounge, dining and occasional furniture. John's taken 40% off beds and bedroom. And over 1,000 items are at half price. Plus pad off over 18 months interest free. Must go sale on now. Strictly limited time, only at John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street.
Where did you get that furniture from? Stafford Street. And my mate John.
At Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Tēnā koe, welcome back. High-flying manoeuvres and trash-talking filled Queenstown Memorial Centre as pro wrestling took hold of the resort town. WrestleFest slammed into action over the weekend as a hometown hero returned to the ring following a scare with a career-threatening injury last year.
Chairs, fists and bodies were flying around the Queenstown Memorial Centre as the annual WrestleFest made its way back to the resort town on Saturday evening. After a one-year hiatus, the Southern Pro Wrestling New Zealand event saw hundreds of roaring fans cheer on the exaggerated feature matches. This year's tournament featured Wakatipu's first women's bout, with Megan Kate holding on to her championship bout against fellow Aucklander Amber Saint.
You're welcome that I flew all the way here, that I am literally freezing my tits off and the best asset I have. And you're welcome that I brought this here with me. So.
The fast-paced night highlighted Mark Perry, better known by his wrestling name, Hooligan Marcus Cool, returning to the hometown ring after a career-threatening neck injury he suffered over a year ago. After calling out his long-term rival Jackson Cross,
I'm going to prove once and for all that Jackson Cross is a dickhead, and I've got his number.
Hooligan took home the long-awaited win with a ladder dive and a kick to the face. The WrestleFest event was started by Mark Perry and Tony Crosby in 2015 and has run every year in the Basin except for 2022 due to Perry's injury. In Queenstown, the South Today.
Some merino sheep in central Otago are starting their week off a lot lighter after getting highly contested cuts over the weekend. Alexandra welcomed competitors from across the country and abroad as they took shears in hand to prove their razor-sharp skills.
Getting stuck in to prove they're a cut above the rest. With shears at the ready, these competitors gave more than 1,000 merino sheep some overdue haircuts for the 62nd New Zealand Merino Shearing and Wool Handling Championships. Alexandra hosted the prestigious competition recently, attracting competitors from around the country and even Australia to the small central Otago township.
And the merino wool being the ultimate fibre of the world, the shearers and wool handlers from throughout the country want to prove themselves on this type of wool.
The two-day event kicked off on Friday as wool handlers and shearers showcased what it takes to be the best in their trade, with both championships being taken out by South Islanders. It's the second year in a row industry legend Samson Tafuta's brought along an Indigenous team from Australia, which he believes helps newer generations of merino wool shearers.
If we can capture this and take some of the skills in amongst our people with our children here now, that can only be good for us, for our clip in Australia.
Alongside the main competitions, shears were also taken to some teddy bears as the industry's up-and-comers look to begin honing in their skills. In Alexandra, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. St Joseph's Cathedral School's new Māori Jesus mural was painted over with white paint in a suspected racist attack. The Governor's Bay jetty is finally restored to its former glory after severe damage in the 2011 earthquakes. And the Port Chalmers Seafood Festival didn't let rain spoil the party over the weekend as thousands turned out for some kaimoana. And now we'll look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, and we're checking in with Associate Editor Mike Houlihan. Hello Mike.
Evening, Hannah.
What can we expect in the Tuesday paper?
Well, it rained on Saturday. It's also raining out there right now, and there's also extremely strong winds. We've got coverage of that from across the region, where there have been camper vans bowled over, and some quite rough rides for paying passengers around the south today.
Very dramatic scenes.
Indeed. We've also got news of the Marine Protection Arena, which is which is soon to be unveiled in the south. Some local fishing interests are concerned as to what might be in that document when it gets released later this week.
Okay.
Rosemary Penwarden, climate activist, was sentenced in a case in over at the District Court this afternoon. We'll have details of what happened there.
Okay.
Extra, our school people's publications in tomorrow with an election preview, and also a reminder that voting started today, early voting, so you can get out there and have a crack if you want to tell our politicians what you think.
Fantastic.
And our travel section tomorrow, the intrepid journey to the Jordanian desert.
Oh, exciting. All right, well thank you for sharing this evening, Mike. We look forward to reading.
Thank you.
Time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, well, there'll be milder weather most of the week as northwesterly airflow arrives, but another period of cold southwesterly airflow is lining up for the weekend. Heading to the top of the South Island, nice and fine through here tomorrow with light winds, a high of 16 in Nelson, followed by 15s in Greymouth and Christchurch. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, fine with 15 and light winds in Ashburton and Te Miru tomorrow, while Oamaru is breezy with nor'easterlies and a high of 14 degrees. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, blue skies and light winds through here tomorrow, up to 16 in Wanaka and Alexandra, with Queenstown getting a calm 15 degrees. Heading further south, well, the winds ease up tomorrow. They'll come through as light nor'westerlies with highs of 14 degrees in Gore, Balclutha and the Catlins. Across to Invercargill, showers clearing tonight and down to 3 degrees. Tomorrow's looking fine and sunny with light nor'westerlies and a high of 15 degrees. Wednesday's a bit showery with cloudy skies, but still warm enough with 16 as the high. And finally, heading to Dunedin, showers and southwesterlies tonight with a low of 6. Tuesday's cloudy to start, but it will open up to a lovely fine day with changing winds and a high of 14. Then Wednesday brings thick high cloud with northerlies and a top temperature of 18 degrees. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news and videos from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand, and you can also follow us on Facebook. Just search for the South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite o pōpō.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.
The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists. UPVC Windows and Doors is a local Dunedin company who manufacture, install and service everything they make. Sign up this month for a free glass upgrade. Call UPVC Windows and Doors today. If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a MoleMap. MoleMap is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
must go sale on now! There's 30% off lounge, dining and occasional furniture. John's taken 40% off beds and bedroom, and over 1,000 items are at half price.
And my mate John.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Passion,
drama, competition, rivalry, marketing, numbers,
atmosphere,
power, fight, attack,
intuition,
love, hate, money,
cash,
millionaires,
fans,
and fans.
Oh boy.